Input and output allow your Python programs to communicate with users. Input brings data into the program, and output displays results back to the user, making your programs interactive instead of silent. By the end of this video, you'll know how to use the input function to get data from a user, how to use the print function to display information, and how to format that information so it looks clean and professional. This is what turns boring scripts into real interactive programs. Let's get started. So what is output? In Python, output means showing information to the user. The main way we do that is by using the print function. Here's a simple example. We can say something like print hello world. When we run this, Python displays hello world, as you can see in the terminal here. So the print function is how your program talks to the user. You can also print numbers, variables, and calculations. For example, we can do something like age equals 25 and print age. Which is creating a variable, storing a number inside it, and printing that variable. And you can see the age 25 being output in the terminal here. And you can print many things at once. You can do something like this. Print your age's age. There we print out a string of text and a variable. Here's the output in the terminal. The print function is your program's voice. Anytime you want the user to see something, you use the print function. Now let's talk about input. Input is how your program receives information from the user. In Python, we use the input function. Here's a simple example. Let's say name equals input function with a string of what is your name. And then we'll use the print function to print out hello and the variable name. When this runs, Python first displays the message, what is your name, then pauses and waits for the user to type something, then it will store whatever they type into the variable called name, and finally print a message using that name. So if I type John, the program prints hello John. That means the program is now interactive. The user is actually involved. That is huge in programming. Almost every real application takes input. Login systems, games, websites, apps, surveys, calculators, they all rely on user input. There is a very important rule about input in Python. By default, everything that comes from the input function is a string, even if the user types a number. Here's an example. I'm going to write age equals input, what is your age, and print age. even if you enter this, the numbers 2 and 5, Python is still treating that as this. 25 in quotes. That is a string, not a number. If you want to use it mathematically, like for example, if you wanted to do print the variable age plus the number 1, you must convert it using the integer function like this. There we put the input function inside of the integer function. The int is short for integer. Now Python sees the input we enter as a number. And if we run the code, we can see our output is 26, which is the number we entered plus 1. You can also use the float function for decimals. It looks like this. And you can use the string function for text. It looks like this. str is short for string. This is all important to remember. Now let's make the output look better and more professional. Right now we might do something like name equals input, enter your name, age equals integer function with the input function inside of it, and inside of that enter your age. And then we might do something like print hello, name variable, you are, age variable, years old. This works, but we can make it cleaner using formatted strings, also called f strings. Here's the better version. We'll say name equals input, enter your name. Age equals integer function, input function, enter your age. And then printf hello, name variable, you are, age variable, years old. This is called string formatting. Anything inside curly braces will be replaced by the variable's value. Notice that before the first quotation mark of the string, I put a F there. That is needed in order to create an F string. Before we move on, I'll run the code so you can see what it does. We enter a name and an age, and then it outputs hello, name, we entered, you are, age, we entered, years old. And you can see that in the terminal here. It says, hello John, you are 25 years old. String formatting is one of the most important skills in Python. You can also format calculations. Here's an example. Let's say num1 equals input, enter a number, and num2 equals integer function, input function, enter a number. Now we'll write the F string. Notice how in the third pair of curly braces in the F string, we were able to do a calculation, which is num1 plus num2. And I'll run the code so you can see what it does. we enter two numbers separately and it gives us back the numbers added together. It says the sum of 10 and 5 is 15. Okay, now let's build a small interactive script together. This program will ask for the user's name, ask for their favorite number, multiply that number by 10 and print a personalized message. You can pause the video here and think about how to do this if you want to. Alright, here's the code. And I'll run it so you can see what it does. It takes the name we entered, John, and the number we entered, which is 25, and gives us output based on that. In this case, it multiplies the number by 10 and says, "Nice to meet you, John. Your favorite number times 10 is 250. The program is interactive, personalized, doing math, and using formatting. This is no longer writing basic scripts. This is creating user experiences. This is how real-world programs start. So here's what you learned in this video. The print function is used to show output to the user. The input function is used to get information from the user. Input returns a string by default. You can convert input using the integer function, the float function, and the str function, and you can format output using f-strings. These are some of the most important foundations in Python. Alright guys, that's all for today. Remember to like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications, and set notifications to all so you don't miss any uploads.